Alright, YouTube, this is Jack with YouTube 59. We had started a conversion on a Mossberg 500. If you'll remember, in part 1 I said I was going to cut this thing down, take the barrel down, and make a home defense or a tactical. I'll get it out here in a minute. Already changed out the buttstock. This was the original. Changed it out, put the black synthetic buttstock on it, and the forearm. Going to change it out to a tactical forearm. On this thing, to save a little bit of time, I've already taken the retainer nut off the front of this thing. And once you take the retainer nut out, it's just simply a nut that holds everything together. If it works right, it should slide right off. They do fit a little snug. And that's all there is as far as taking the old one off. Take the new one and replace it. And I know it's going to be a little tight, but slide it right in here and make sure it seats. It's got a seat over both these push arms here, so just make sure it seats over them. Make sure it lines up with it. Yep. Get that side over there where it's supposed to be. Stand up here where I can see what it's doing. There we go. And there's the forearm. Now, that puts all that back together. Just take the retainer nut, slide it back on. Get it started on the threads. Make sure it's not cross-threaded when you put it back on. There it goes. And they do make a special wrench for this, which I don't have. But I found out a nail set works pretty good if you set it in one of them, one of the little grooves, and just go with it. Naturally, it don't work as good when you're trying to demonstrate it, but get that in there and it just runs right on in there. Just run it in until it's tight. I don't normally put it back on too tight, but tight enough you know that it ain't going to work loose when you're shooting it. Alright, so that's pretty much that part of putting the stock back together. Just a real quick view here. I'll take this thing loose and set it down out of the way. And there is your forearm and buttstock put back together. So we're on our way. I said I was going to do this in a couple of parts. There's that step. And if you remember in part 1, I was going to cut the barrel off. Bear with me 1 second here. I did get the barrel cut off. I said, now I'm not a professional by no means, but I cut that much of it off. Remember, it was a 29-inch barrel. I cut 10 1/4 off of it. So cut that much of the barrel off, and here's what I ended up with. Cut it off. I say I'm not a professional, and I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, but it come out pretty good. For my first one, I'm happy with it. Full tape measure on it, and you have to catch it. You're supposed to catch it right where the shell goes in, but I'm gonna come down just a little bit further. But even from the outside of the ring, I've got 18.5 inches. Alright, North Carolina legal is 18, so I shouldn't have any questions about that if I ever get checked. If I back it up to the end of the barrel where the shell actually goes in at, I've got about 19 3/8. So, but for all general purposes, I'm going to call this an 18.5 inch barrel. And that's from the outside ring, and you can actually measure from the inside ring if I understand it right. Cut the rib off, the brace, about a 30-degree angle probably, and I'm going to file on that just a little bit, get the sharp edges off of it. But that's my barrel. If you'll stick with me, my next clip, which I may link it to this one, we'll see what happens. I'm going to show you how I re-blue, if I can find my bluing. I think I got some here somewhere. Yeah. I'll show you how I re-blue, because I did sand this down a little bit and straighten it up a little bit. But I'll do a little filing on that, and then I'll show you how I re-blue one. Alright. Appreciate you watching, but we'll see if we can get this thing re-blued and get the barrel back in and see what she looks like. As always, thank you for watching. If you like what we're doing here, click thumbs up, please. I'd like to know if you like what's going on, or if you don't like it or whatever, and leave me a comment or two on what's going on here and if you've got a project going on.